The summoning circle flared with crimson light, and Isabella materialized in a column of black flame and starlight. Her form was magnificent, horns of obsidian curving from her temples, eyes like dying suns, and wings that seemed to absorb the very concept of light. She had been a demon goddess for 3,000 years, granting wishes to mortals across 100 worlds, collecting their souls in return. Marcus stood before her, alone in the abandoned temple. He was unremarkable by most standards, a human from Earth, average height, wearing the practical jumpsuit of a colonial surveyor. His ship had crashed on this forgotten moon while mapping resource deposits for the Terran Expansion Initiative. "You dare summon me, mortal?" Isabella's voice resonated with the weight of millennia, each word carrying the screams of civilizations long dead. Marcus pulled out a datapad and checked his readings. "The ancient text said you'd appear if I performed the ritual correctly. Glad the translation algorithm worked." Isabella blinked. In 3,000 years, no summoner had ever responded to her dramatic entrance with such nonchalance. They usually cowered, or begged, or wept. This human was taking notes. "You may ask 3 wishes," she continued, regaining her composure. "In exchange, your soul shall be mine for eternity. Choose wisely, for many have—" "I'll take them," Marcus interrupted, pocketing his datapad. 3 wishes, right? Let me think about the first one." Isabella's eye twitched. He hadn't even negotiated, hadn't tried to bargain for his soul, hadn't asked about loopholes or limitations. Every species she'd dealt with had at least tried to negotiate. The Valorians had spent 2 days arguing contract terms. The Zephyrites had hired lawyers. "Very well," she said, settling onto her throne of bones that materialized beneath her. "Speak your first wish, and watch as I reshape reality itself to—" "I wish," Marcus said thoughtfully, "for you to experience a genuinely good day." Silence. Isabella stared at him. The words hung in the air between them, impossible, incomprehensible. "What?" Her voice cracked, the cosmic authority draining from it. "A good day," Marcus repeated. "You know, where things go right, where you feel happy, I guess, content, whatever works for you." Isabella's composure shattered like glass. In 3,000 years, across hundreds of worlds and thousands of summoners, no one had ever, not once, wished for her well-being. They wished for power, for wealth, for the destruction of enemies, for the resurrection of loved ones. They wished for knowledge or beauty or immortality. Not one had ever wished for her happiness. That's not... You can't... Isabella stood abruptly, her wings flaring in agitation. "That's a waste of a wish. Don't you want riches? I can fill your crashed ship with neutronium, power. I can make you emperor of your pathetic human colonies. Revenge? I can erase everyone who ever wronged you from existence." Marcus shrugged. "I'm a surveyor. I like my job. I don't really have enemies. Well, except maybe Jenkins from accounting. But that's just because he's passive-aggressive about expense reports. And money's nice. But what would I do with neutronium? The market would crash." "Then why—" Isabella's voice was almost pleading now. An emotion she hadn't felt since before her ascension. "Why would you waste a wish on me?" "Is it a waste?" Marcus pulled out a collapsible chair from his emergency kit and sat down. "Look, I've been reading about you while my ship's auto-repair drones work. You've been doing this for 3,000 years, right? Same routine. Appear dramatically, grant wishes, collect souls, repeat. That sounds exhausting, honestly." Isabella found herself sitting back down, her carefully maintained aura of terror evaporating. "You read about me?" The temple database was pretty extensive. Lots of warnings about the terrible demon goddess Isabella, destroyer of hope, consumer of souls, eternal darkness, etc. Marcus smiled slightly. "But between the lines, I noticed something. You always give people exactly what they wish for. No monkey's paw tricks, no cruel irony. If someone wishes for wealth, you give them wealth, not cursed gold or blood money, just wealth. That's... Isabella wrapped her wings around herself, a defensive gesture she hadn't made in centuries. That's the contract. I must fulfill wishes as intended. Except that's not in the contract. Marcus pulled up his datapad, showing the ancient text. I had my ship's AI analyze it. You could interpret wishes in the worst possible way. Most demons do, according to human folklore. But you don't. Why? Isabella was quiet for a long moment. The throne of bones beneath her dissolved, leaving her sitting on simple stone. Because I remember what it was like to wish for things before I became this. See, that's what I thought. Marcus leaned forward. You're not evil. You're just stuck. 3,000 years of the same routine, playing the villain because that's what the contract demands, but being fair about it because you're still fundamentally decent. I consume souls, Isabella protested weakly. Do you, though? What does that even mean? Marcus gestured around the empty temple. From what I read, people who make wishes with you don't die. They don't suffer. They just go somewhere when they die. Your realm. Is it really hell? Or is it something else? Isabella's eyes, those dying suns, dimmed to something almost mortal. It's a place. They exist there. I keep them company in my way. It's lonely, being immortal. That's what I figured. Marcus stood up. So, my first wish stands. I wish for you to have a genuinely good day, however you define that, whatever that means for you. The wish activated. Isabella felt the cosmic contract bend, reality reshape itself around the intent, and suddenly, impossibly, she felt it. The weight on her shoulders, accumulated over 3 millennia, lifted just slightly. The endless monotony cracked. Something warm and almost forgotten flickered in her chest. Joy, small, fragile, and probably temporary, but real. Isabella laughed, not her usual terrible laugh that shook dimensions, but something genuine and bright. You magnificent, idiotic human! You could have wished for anything. I did, Marcus said simply. I wished for something impossible. That's pretty cosmic, right? Isabella wiped at her eyes, surprised to find them wet. You still have 2 wishes remaining, Marcus of Earth. Great. Marcus checked his datapad. My ship will be repaired in about 6 hours. Want to grab dinner? I have ration packs, the good kind, with actual flavor packets. You can tell me about what a good day means for a demon goddess, and I'll explain human bureaucracy. We'll see which is more terrifying. For the first time in 3,000 years, Isabella smiled, really smiled. You're going to use your remaining wishes for something equally ridiculous, aren't you? Probably, Marcus admitted. But hey, we've got time. And honestly, making an ancient cosmic entity experience happiness seems like a pretty human thing to do. Isabella stood, her form shifting slightly, becoming less terrible and more herself. HFY, she murmured, recognizing the human acronym from the cultural databases she'd absorbed. Humanity, fa. Yeah, exactly, Marcus grinned. Now, about that dinner? And so, in an abandoned temple on a forgotten moon, a demon goddess and a human surveyor shared ration packs and conversation while the universe looked on in bewilderment. It wasn't the wish anyone expected, but it was the wish that mattered most.